Long office hours.
Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. How's it going, guys?
Hey,
New faces, and we've got some returning faces. Good to see you, Andrew. Good to see you, Mark. Good to see you, Vladimir, Doge, Evan. What have you been working on this week, Evan? Not Dioxus, just like the school stuff.
midterms.
Do what? Sorry, I missed that.
We got midterms coming up.
Oh
So
no.
yeah,
How's it going?
yeah. I just took home just took a take-home one. I just have like the paper. I haven't actually taken it yet, so I don't know. It seems mostly fine.
That's good. Not too difficult, I would assume. Probably uh, a little bit simpler than the work you do outside of school.
Yeah, the embedded systems one is kind of interesting. It's a lot more low level. Fun to do some bit shifting once in a while.
Yeah. does does anyone else here do like embedded stuff? I don't know if anyone's had a chance to play around with like Rust for embedded yet. I know you guys should get into it. Hey Vladimir. Yeah, I I maintain this like one random crate um, for the embedded world. I got really into Rust embedded for a moment. Do they let you do any of it in Rust yet, Evan, or is it like still on paper kind of embedded stuff?
No, it's all in C, not even C++.
Ooh, they don't even let you use C++. That's tough. Oh,
Yeah.
cool board. What is this, Doge? Yeah, wait. So what's this like RC plane project that you've got going on? I've seen videos of it, but ooh, autonomous videography. That would be cool. Oh, this is like an actively ongoing project. Is there like a Rust flavor of Ardupilot out there yet? I don't know. There's kind of some cool embedded Rust jobs out there. Not that I'm like super into Rust. I am super into Rust, but there are other embedded jobs. But what is it? Uh, yeah, Kuiper, like Amazon's SpaceX slash SpaceLink competitor. Their whole thing is written in Rust. It was really cool. Like the ground stations to the satellites, everything is embedded Rust. Um, there's like some autonomous CAD CAM machining companies that all their stuff is in Rust. I don't know. There's some like cool, very low level embedded things happening in the space. Hand flying, no autonomous stuff yet. Yeah, I mean, there are jobs out there that are I would do that aren't Rust, but I think it is. I think it's the more interesting of the technologies you can use. What other projects are people working on this week? We've got a autonomous airplane, Rust script. What is Rust script? The like Bash alternative? Eh. There's a lot more Rust jobs out there. You kind of just have to like you know where to look. Is kind of what I found so far, and also depends on what interests you, of course. I mean, it's used at Google, Facebook, Cloudflare, Amazon, tons of startups. Yeah, and it seems like people are pretty lax on like whether or not you actually know the subject matter that you're getting into, as long as you know the language. Oh, cloud web-based CRM, Rust Postgres. Are you using Supabase or is it all like self like hosted Postgres? That's a tough delay. Yeah. Well, hopefully a certain release of a certain full stack library comes out sooner rather than later to to give you a couple more options. I thought Rust script support was like mainlined into Rust, right? Like you can just like run the file, or is that what this is?
There's definitely some sort of single file Rust support.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Today's office hours will be a little bit more relaxed. Again, kind of just like showing everybody what's up, what's changed since last office hours, the things that are blocking the release, which are not that many actually, and then timelines, anything where you guys can get involved, um, and then helping out with any bugs or issues or questions or problems or a little bit more synchronous work with the community. So if you have like something you're working on you need help with, or you're just kind of curious what the situation of the project is, now's a good time to like interact, pick our brains. I mean, we're pretty helpful in the Discord daily anyway. I Someone reported a bug last night. I think it was like fixed within an hour. So, we try to be as fast as we can, but this is an opportunity to engage more deeply with us. And I think a lot of people have been to this office hours before, so you guys are gonna get the format. Let me share my screen, and then I think I want to put my face in here as well. That's a thing, right? Okay, cool. Hey, folks. Uh, Hopefully you can see. This is like the GitHub page. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, sick. So there's been, I mean, we've been adding a ton of issues. Yeah, Mark just added one. A lot of actually really good stuff. Some stuff that we've been pulling out of the Discord. So like all the different conversations we're having. I kind of just want to keep encouraging people. As much as I hate the issue tracker filling up, this is actually a good place to put important things like the bin stall is not working for pre-releases. This is not that hard to fix. It's just like we need to track these somewhere. We've been talking about adding like a static site generator target since we use it for a bunch of different websites. Uh, I want to kind of talk about like use the office hours to talk about merging different pieces together and like what platforms we're targeting and like the architectures there, and then talk about what has been done since the last office hours. Probably the biggest thing is if we go to dioxuslabs.com and we go to docs, uh, you can see that it's using the 0.5 version now. So the docs are a little ahead of the release curve a little bit, but it's really cool. So we actually have all three versions. So we got 0.5, 0.4, 0.3. I think we need to do like a little bit of CSS work, but yeah, the docs have been updated. So thank you, Evan, for doing this. It's a tremendous amount of work. Uh, Probably still a little bit more proofreading, but it seems like the community's pretty active at like submitting bug fixes and grammar fixes and stuff. So this is cool, and everything still works, and you can like wind back to previous version. So you can see 0.4 is using use state, and then 0.5 is using use signal. Kind of the way this is architected is if you rewind to 0.4, you can't go to 0.5 just because we're like using the statically generated version of the site. Quirks to iron out, but it works. Yeah, so if you guys could help us in getting to the release faster, like going through docs and just looking at them and then like giving feedback, either in the form of like an issue or just fixing it and then submitting a pull request is a good name to get a good way to get your name on the like the release notes when we finally put out 0.5, or just like reading through them and giving us feedback is super useful. So this is, I would say, like one of the blockers for release is just making sure the docs are good. A number of important PRs have been merged and a number of PRs have been or are still sitting open. I will say I'm partly at fault. This one PR has just been dragging on and on and on. But it is fixing a lot of like important stuff, like 6-7 issues. This is definitely required. This is like nailing a bunch of like blocking issues, but some other stuff has been closed as well. So the sledgehammer bindings. Okay, none of the builds are passing when we merge. I think this is the backport action failing. What specifically? The full stack history. Oh yeah, this one was the most important out of all of them. So if you were messing around on with 0.5 alpha, you would have run into this most likely. We had issues with like the order in which futures were being pulled and scopes were being dropped. So this fixes that. So if you guys can give, well, we're going to put out an alpha 1 today. Let's see. So this PR, the one that fixes a bunch of stuff, the form inputs, submits, navigating, all this stuff. This is like done. I just trying to make Clippy happy in some places right now. It's like, or not Playwright, specifically like the iOS target. Just some stuff's not configured out properly. It's just the annoyingness of working cross-platform. Yeah, so once this is in, which should be today, we'll put out an alpha 1. And then hopefully that's not up that long. Hopefully that's like a week or less. And then we can release 0.5 in its entirety. Yeah, bump Jackson Freya. Yeah, this would be a good one to test against Freya Mark. And then I thought we had manual drop of signals through a dispose method, but I guess we don't have that. This one would be easy to expose if we wanted to. We should put something in the docs to like kind of discourage this unless you know what you're doing. We shouldn't really have like a signal new method that inherently leaks. So this is like one of those like final details we need to figure out. Yeah, we have the infrastructure is there for a dispose method. Yeah, so plugins. I don't think Evan, what's like the status of the plugins? We're not doing this for 0.5, are we?
No, probably not for 0.5. It's like pretty close to being finished. There were still some wasm time bugs that were upstream. It was
Mm,
making some of the like persistence for plugins broken, so we want to like store data between one plugin run and the next. But the rest of it's mostly good. I need to like double check the final API, make sure that's what we want, because it's kind
mhm.
of difficult to. We don't really want a versioning system. We can. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah. Yeah, we're I don't know. The CLI is about to get like way more complex, especially the fact that we're like gonna be supporting plugins. Is the idea we continue to support multiple versions of the plugin API at once, long term, or we're always just going to support one version at a time?
I think just one version, at least initially. Um, the way I had it set up with Flonium, which is where I'm kind of borrowing some of the code from, is it like looks for a GitHub tag. It has like a manifest it reads, and then it pulls down the right version.
Hmm.
And then it should be pretty easy for plugins to like just rebuild with the new version if we don't change too much of the API.
Okay, so it's like the API we give to them, we can keep stable and just like rebuild for every new release.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll probably want to set up like a GitHub repository that we like sync submodules in for plugins or something like that. For ecosystems that have plugins, I tend to see them dump everything into like one GitHub repo. So GitHub, I think Zed has just something that is like, yeah, they're extensions. And I think this is, I don't know if these are submodules or not. Yeah, these are just submodules. So these are like all the Zed extent. I don't know if people have seen it. It's like a Rust based editor using GPU rendering. And they have a kind of small extension set, and it's all like just submoduled into this. So we'll probably want to set up something like this. What's left like on the design space here for the plugin system?
so right now there's some bits that only work for certain platforms. Like asset reloading only works for the web platform,
Mm-hmm.
and then the way like there's different actions that trigger, and those actions return a result that happens on the CLI side. So like when a rebuild triggers, it returns, or like when a file changes, it doesn't necessarily trigger a rebuild. It returns like rebuild, do nothing, or hot reload these specific files,
Mm-hmm.
which mostly works if we want to have something like a plugin that updates every n seconds, then that doesn't work. So it does like limit some of what plugins do.
Mm. Interesting. So plugins can only be like purely reactive today, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about
Interesting.
the state of like async WASI and how finished that is. So it might be that's kind of what we're forced into today. It works for most things.
Hey, can we not like run a Tokyo? I, I guess like WASI exposes timers, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is running Tokyo. Um, I think maybe we could get some things like timers working. Then the API for hot reloading things is a little bit weird. The other API we worked with was you like give it a handle, then you need the plugin to be stateful, which is a little bit more difficult to program because the way the plugins are defined, it's a bunch of functions. So you need the state to be global.
Mm,
You could like put it in a lazy static with mutex. It's not great.
yeah. Okay. Well, I assume most of this is like the infrastructure around plugins and getting them into the command line. So we still
Yeah.
have room to play with the API a little bit. Okay. Well, I mean, the first plugins we want to support are like the Tailwind and I guess asset optimization would be built in because the performance of that, um, like hot reloading CSS stuff like that, is probably gonna be plugged in. So we can dog food those against the first version of the API.
Yeah, there is a Tailwind plugin and a parcel minifier in the PR.
Nice. Okay, yeah. It's gonna be a moment to review 80 files, 6,000. It's probably not that bad, but cool. Okay. Let's look at it's part of the is it on a milestone? I'll give it the 0 to 6 milestone. Yeah. Kind of want to like look at the milestones real quick. How do you get there? I think a week or two updated what the milestones were. So we're using GitHub to manage everything. We've only planned 2 releases out, so this like puts us until May, until we like move on to full stack. But this is the future. So this is everything that we have planned. We're making these issues as we go, and then we're gonna like. I think we've been pretty good about labeling them with the right milestone, so you can kind of see what's open, what's closed for signals. We keep adding stuff. There's a lot of stuff in here that, well, I don't know if it's going to be a blocker. Um, let's see what's in here. There's a couple things on here. Yeah, so like on input for forms, memos, giving out a date file. Oh, actually, yeah, this will need to be fixed. File drop. So the idea is like we chew through the open stuff here on signals. I encourage people to like look at DevTools and full stack. We've had some ongoing conversations in Discord on what we want to be in these releases. And if there's stuff in here that you see or don't see, it would be good to like make an issue and then add it. That way our like roadmap is up to date with the very specific stuff that needs to happen. Well, yeah, I mean, I was very optimistic. I think what we want is just like way more polish on this release. Uh, I don't know. I don't want to put anything out and then like do a quick like bug fix like the previous releases have been. So in this case, we're doing the alphas. So today, hoping to put out the alpha 1. Evan, is there like anything specific, like anything big left that's blocking the release in your mind?
Docs a little bit, memos are kind of broken. I think those are mostly fixed now, and then suspense is kind of broken.
That's what this 2005 is, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Is this okay? Oh, you're implementing lazy memos now in this
yeah,
PR?
lazy memos are done. It's interesting because if we're in the same thread and the memo is changed, we need to do that without async now. So we need like lazy
Mm,
memos plus some thread local stuff, and the thread local wasn't done.
interesting. And you're splitting the reactive context
Reactive
as
context now doesn't use Flume, and you don't have to use the channel because we don't for uh, scopes and for memos, because memos use both a channel and like a dirty flag.
mm-hmm.
Just kind of interesting
Interesting.
things to work around the fact that we can't rely on async in Spence.
Oh, because we want memos to be up to date even during server rendering.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's probably for the best because we just want to react to changes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure this is working or in some capacity.
will be.
uh cool. Yeah, let's go look at 0.5 real quick. So let's see if there's actually anything that's huge on here. I mean, there's a lot on here, but some of it, like 6 or 7, are going to be knocked by one. A couple are going to be knocked by yours. Um, embedded hot reload. Does it seem like Mark? Does this like embedded hot reload? Does it still not work for you? I mean, we haven't tried to fix it. tried it. Okay. Absolute paths on Windows. It'd be nice to remove the NASM CLI requirement. Um, Given I don't know how feasible it is.
It's feasible. It might be like 2 times slower for assets. If we get asset caching working though, that shouldn't really be an issue. Ideally, I'd like to get it in 0.5.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying to upgrade like your GitHub workflow and then it fails because it's missing NASM and you have to like figure that out.
Yeah.
Um, and then we have so all the input like HTML related stuff is going to be fixed. That's like 7 or 8 of these. The web view should never automatically navigate. Rye actually exposes a way to prevent navigations now, like all navigations. Um, so if I missed anything with prevent defaults, this like that Rye feature is going to take care of that. It would be really nice to have the auto detection working. I don't know if anyone is down to like wrench on the CLI, but this is easy. It's just it takes time. Um, so like right now, if you like DX serve and you're running a desktop app with like the desktop features enabled, we still try to serve it as a web app. It would be really easy just to read the cargo and then like look at which features you have enabled for Dioxus and then like use the right platform depending on that. Um, if anyone here wants to take it up, please do. This is a very simple. It's like just like read the cargo, check the features, use that, and then if you can't figure out through some like simple heuristics, just fall back.
And the cargo, the Dioxus.toml does have a platform specifier, but this would be like an automatic version of that.
Yeah, yeah. Andrew, this might be good for you if you want to do it. Yeah, so like the way it should work is if they specified a platform in the flags, use that. If they have a doxys.toml and they specify the platform there, use that. If neither of those are present, then just like poke at the features and then try to figure it out. Yeah, this would be easy. I'm not sure I want to go jump into the CLI right now, but like if anyone wanted to do this, like please take it on. um, a lot of this is getting fixed. We need to fix the embedded hot reload. That's important. And then mobile. Evan, you said mobile seemed to be fixed with the template.
They someone from Rye said it was fixed, and the template is updated. The issue's closed. I haven't tested it with Dioxus, so I'm not
Okay.
sure. And there's definitely some docs there that need updating.
Yeah. We still have this thing where we're like, we don't generate the mobile glue for you, but I think that's fine to leave until 0.6. It's just a lot of work. Okay. I mean, it looks like I think we're gonna have to have one more PR that fixes the like VS Code extension bundling, or just like makes that automatic, and then fixes some hot reloading that comes with it. I think that's like one more kind of biggish PR, and then everything else either is knocked out by what we're doing now, or it's pretty simple. Um, Obviously, little quirks and stuff here and there, and release taking longer. But we did like rewrite the entire core plus like tons of crates. So I'd say it's like been a lot of work so far. I'm hoping. I mean, I said last office hours that by this office hours we'll be in a more stable state, and we definitely are. But it'll still be like another week or two, I think. Okay, Vandy, you asked some questions. When do you think about a production ready Dioxus will be available? I don't. So we hadn't like had a huge breaking change like rewrite in a long time. I think maybe a year since anything was like substantially rewritten, and even then we didn't change the API that much. It was just like the internals. So it's like we've been stable in terms of API for a long time. Now that the API is changing, we can't really say that anymore. But I don't think we're going to stray from the new API for a long time. I mean, we were on the last one for like 2 years, and I think we'll kind of be on the new one for as long as we can stay on it, unless like Rust, the language, gets better features to support what we need. So in terms of like building on top of the pieces that we have, I'd say you can like stick with it for a long time. Evan, I don't really know your thoughts.
Yeah, there's probably some things that might change. Like maybe we rework the sync signals, maybe we do like fine-grained reactivity updates, but it should mostly be additive or some pretty niche things. I don't think
Mm.
we're going to completely rewrite the state mechanism again or remove something as big as scope for a long time, if ever.
It's not like there's a scope to remove anymore, you know?
Remove functions.
Yeah, I would like to change how we do elements at some point. Just I think our like import Dioxus elements thing is kind of gross. But again, it's like not really a user-facing change. Yeah, it'll cause like a breaking, like a semver bump, but all the crates that compiled yesterday will still compile tomorrow, ideally.
Yeah, we
Um,
might break Mark's crates for a little while, but everybody else should mostly be okay.
yeah, and then I mean, so that's like half of it. So that's like APIs and stability and stuff. The other half is like what does production ready mean? Like people are deploying stuff in production. People definitely deploy things in the Rust ecosystem that are like not at a 1.0. Um, there's like two questions. There's like, will we get to a 1.0 and is it capable in its current form to be production ready? I think if you're using like the master or main version of Dioxus, like the one on GitHub, that's not a good choice for production ready. I mean, it's hard to test everything. Like dropping a file onto a web view is like not an easy thing to test. It's not like running benchmarks. Like it's like you somehow have to emulate a file being dragged and dropped on a window in a headless environment. So sometimes, especially if you're writing like GitHub versions of what we do, that is not production ready. But usually by the time we go for a release, everything is like fixed and cleaned up. Um, Um, I, I think you would have an okay time running like the zero point 0.5 release in production. Uh, I mean, we're polishing. That's like a huge point of the 0.5 release. So I'd say try it, see how it goes. It will be better than it has been before. It'll be like a more polished version of everything that it's had been before. And people are shipping stuff in Dioxus for years. So everything has a curve in which it's stable. Right. That was a very long way of answering that question.
We do have like some like cross-plat or single platform APIs that will probably change in the future. Like this menu bar stuff exists in desktop and there's ways to do it in web, but that API isn't unified yet. So some of
Mm.
those more platform specific APIs will probably change in the future.
Yeah, I you think that'll be like in STD or we abstract out all this like desktop stuff and then have every platform back it with their own core.
I think platforms back it instead of having an STD because it's going to need to integrate with specific renderers. Because right now STD has mostly renderer agnostic stuff. So there's like a render agnostic notifications. Maybe we have like some level of that so it can work with Free, but there's also some that should automatically know what platform it's running on.
Mm.
And it's going to need to
Like
integrate with global objects like the window.
yeah, like title and head and icon and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll be one of the I don't know if that slots into any of our like releases in the like next couple of releases, but I think that should be something we start to look at this year. Kind of by the end of the year is unifying a lot of that and simplifying out the stack, like merging live view into full stack. So we have this like one sort of unified interface. Um, so have menu support, just kind of like going off this. Yeah, with Muda you can set up menu bars. We don't like do I don't know, Tari, Rye, like really, like the library changed under our feet. So like the way we had it supported before, it's different than the way it's supported now. You can do app menu support and you can do app icons. We actually provide a way of doing that, and some bundling as well. So, and I think Crab Nebula slash Axo is doing something with uh, app updates. Like you can embed Flower framework. I forget. On Mac, it's like there's a framework specifically for doing app updates. So all of these actually you can do today in Dioxus. We just don't have like I guess guides. There are in the docs how to set icons and how to do app menus. Oh, cargo package update. Yeah, it's new, isn't it? Crab. Uh, Technically, Dioxys Labs is a business. Crab Nebula is kind of like a business supporting Tauri, but I thought Tauri was also business. So, right. But yeah, Crab Nebula I think is providing. Can we go to their thing? They're providing like paid pieces to this, and I think that would also be a smart way of like, supporting Dioxys in the future if we ever get around to building all this like cloud infrastructure. Right now, managing and supporting cloud is just I think a distraction from making Dioxys really good. But at a certain point, I think we're going to hit a level of polish, and a lot of people would be standing around with time to spend on doing stuff like packaging and deployment tools inside of Dioxys apps. Yeah, how does this work? You give it a registry or something like that? Oh, big refactor. Interesting. Um, what else? Oh, one other sort of like big piece of news is Nico Burns, who's been working on Taffy, like he's been like lead maintaining Taffy, is actually joining Dioxys Labs to work on our native renderer, so Blitz. So I've been working on this like Stylo Dioxys theme for a while, kind of like back and forth. J Kelly Stylo Dioxys. I think we've talked about this. It takes the Firefox like CSS engine, so the thing that's resolving style sheets and providing animations and timers and stuff like that, and it renders it on the GPU with Velo. So Velo just got its first release, and Velo's a Google project by RAF. It's an open source project. This is going to displace GitHub Blitz. So I think displace is a strong word. We're just swapping out the resolution engine. So it's been a moment since we've contributed, or I guess since anyone's contributed Blitz, but Evan has been like driving that one along. There's no pictures, which I think it probably needs some pictures. But yeah, so we're going to be swapping the core of this of Blitz out with the work in the Stylo like repository branch, and Nico's be working on that full time. So this will be cool. So we'll start to see like a native renderer take form for desktop and mobile, and then a lot of bugs and features and stuff upstreamed into things like Parley, Cosmic Text, Taffy, like all the different libraries that support this crate. So this is very cool. I think when you start to pair this with the full stack stuff that Evan has been working on, you have some like really cool like desktop apps with the embedded backends in them or stuff like that. Um, Things like you can do mobile apps. There's this idea we can bridge into React Native modules and like use those embedded into a native renderer, or that you can embed Blitz into something like Bevy. I don't know. The sky's really the limit on what you can do with like WGP rendering the Dioxys virtual DOM. Oh yeah, that's testing. I was literally thinking about this last night, Evan. I was like walking home from the gym, being like, it's so annoying. that will like we can't screenshot the web views and then like save those web views or save those screenshots for like regression testing. Is there a library for that in the Rust ecosystem that like lets you screenshot?
I thought Rye exposed it.
Yeah, can we like can we do regression testing with that?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, you sent some library for doing regression or like snapshot generation. What was that called?
Insta, I think.
Maybe we can give it the images in the form of a binary.
I don't really want to see a diff of the bite, but something a little bit nicer would be good.
we'll get we'll use this, and then if it fails, we'll get ChatGPT to describe why the images are different in the form of an error
No, Claude
message.
3 now.
Oh, Claude 3 is where it's at. Like Claude 3 is self-aware, isn't it? It's like sentient. Oh yeah. I kind of want to build like standalone apps with Floatium, like build a workflow and then like export it. Is that like a thing?
That is the
Like a custom.
next release. Oh, did you see the Y Combinator company that launched its Plonium?
No way. Wait, tell me.
It's a
It's like
web something, but it's like almost exactly Plonium, uh, except it's web based. You export like a website.
you
No
export a
local
website. So
AI.
it's like, what are they doing? No local AI. Gosh. It's like I kind of want to like I have some stuff I want to do. Your apartment hunting, for example. You got to look at Facebook Marketplace. You got to look at Zillow, and you got to look at Craigslist. I don't know what it is where people live. Maybe you have like one website, but we've got like three out here that people post good stuff on. And like, I'm not trying to parse Craigslist. I'm not trying to parse Facebook, but I could build a Flonian app that does that. And then that would be cool. You could like send it to your friends or upload it.
Yeah, there's like a llama file too, where you can embed the llama binary into your app. So eventually, just like one single executable has everything downloaded.
Ooh. With Flonium or with Agent Hub?
With Plonium. Agent Hub is just web.
Oh, see, that's not that cool to me. Well, I think it's cool. I don't want to say anything bad about any companies, but like little local agents I can like run in the background. That would be cool. Like my own little personal web scrapers.
I want a little note taker, which is why I was eventually or like originally building it. Like a little note taker that uses Whisper to listen and take notes and summarize it.
That would be cool. Or like you've got the whisper aspect to it, and then you've got like it screenshots like a video feed or your screen or something like that, and then it can associate the data with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got project ideas for Flonium. We'll throw some stuff at it because it would also be cool to embed it into like command line tools. I know we keep talking about this, and I think it's actually legitimately an interesting problem that we can like build custom into the CLI, and then like I don't know, you can like convert between different markups without writing a parser. Yeah, Discord bot. What else?
I saw this
Um,
tool that was grep with AI, like scans through your text, but it uses natural language.
mhm.
Seems very interesting.
Oh yeah, there's like instead of JQ, there's like JIQ or something like that. JIQ, not JIQ1. I'll find it. I'm pretty sure it's JIQ. Well, they like rewrote. So JQ is like you can like parse through JSON with the command line, but the syntax is like kind of weird. So they like wrote a front end for the JQ that like converted your natural language into like the commands you need for the JQ. See, like I don't know, it's pretty cool. It's like find the fourth field called version and then update that or something like that, and it can go like modify the fields. It's very exciting stuff. I think that's also a YC company. Yeah, could we like put calcium into the CLI and then also support like calcium plugins in the CLI? Is that like a thing?
Calcium and like float-in plugins are you can use it like in a CLI, but like the API isn't great. It's mostly just
Mm,
built for floating right now.
okay. Well, I kind of don't want to add extra consumers. I feel like it's more fun to develop interfaces when it's like you're allowed to break things.
Yeah. Ooh, I would be scared of converting natural language into a shell.
I, I, I saw someone on Twitter. They like used AI to generate TypeScript types, and it was the most like insane, monstrous TypeScript type. It was like 40 lines of a union, and I was like, we've gone too far. We need to go back. It's, I think we should build some AI apps now. I mean, I haven't dogfooded too much of point 0.5, which I think is a bad thing to say. But I was doing yesterday for like my personal site, and it's really good. Like it's really, really good. Like a little too good. Um, everything was really clean. Include dir. We have this like hydration stuff going on. Um, it would be nice to have more macros like include directory that are like designed for the SSG target. Um, just with all the asset system that we're doing.
Yeah,
But point
the
0.5 is really good.
SSG is so close to being great. Like we have the search, we have Markdown. Some of the APIs are not quite where they need to be.
Mhm. Yeah, I was playing around with like Zola and then like Gatsby. Like Gatsby has, I don't know if Gatsby's still relevant these days, but I was helping someone with their site, their Gatsby site. And it was like, oh, you could do this in Dioxus. This is just components that you're putting together. And they have like this like god awful build pipeline to get Markdown into React components. I'm like, we have includer. We can like literally transform Markdown at compile time to Rest code. It's very close to being like fantastic.
Yeah, I want to make like an AI library for Dioxys, like an endpoint server function that you just import. It's like call llama or something. You just import into your web app.
Ooh,
Seems like a good demo.
that would be cool. There's like so many new startups that are like, we give you AI components for your app, and they all kind of interesting APIs. But it'd be cool if you could just like drop in. Here's Llama, like running on some high end LPU server or something like that. Uh, we might, I don't know, that database integration issue you have. There's also like the idea of like, where does a server function run? It would be interesting to be able to like annotate a server function runs on an LPU enabled thing. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff there. Any update on Dioxus to play? Yeah, we kind of paused the project for a little bit while we're just polishing everything. I don't know. I think the 6 month timeline here is like the dev tools that we're building are going to integrate with the deploy app infrastructure. Yeah, so things like assets are required to get deploy working. I don't know. We're like getting all the pieces now that we can build a pretty decent deploy system. Just like I don't want to host people's apps until we're like done messing with the APIs. Uh, I don't know, but it's an exciting project. I think we want to get this DevTool stuff in first and then maybe revisit. After like once like the point 0.6 releases DevTools and point 0.7 is full stack, and I think that sets us up to be in a really good spot for deploy. Yeah, we probably need more people working on it since we're slowly getting spread pretty thin at the moment.
So issues is turning out to be a very long tail before the release.
I closed the wrong tab. My bad. Yeah, we're adding more and more tests, and we're adding more and more like I don't know types and stuff in places. So the tails of releases usually is like we broke something through the release and we have to go back and fix it before we release it. I am very hopeful that the more time we invest into like stabilizing these things and just like building better infrastructure, we should add more snapshot testing. We should add more doc testing. Um, but yeah, we won't have to revisit these problems every time we do a release. Yeah, I think that's it in terms of like updates. I don't know. Does anybody have any like questions or thoughts for the future or stuff they want to contribute to? It'd be really cool if someone can contribute to the CLI that like auto decides the platform. That would be super helpful. You guys are really good at finding bugs. Thanks, Mark, specifically. Okay, yes, thank you. Yeah, that would be super helpful because I hate having to write like serve platform desktop or like web. We still have that bug with the asset system uh, across examples. I haven't made an issue for that yet, Evan. I don't know if you know of a quick fix for it.
Just add an extra like bit to the file path for the examples. Should be a pretty easy fix. We might
Okay.
also be doing the same thing with features though.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
like we're
could be like,
merging features.
yeah,
I still think we want the platform auto detection, at least for the Dioxus repo, because we don't have a Dioxus.toml in the Dioxus repo.
generation is nice, but if we can get it working without new or Dioxus new, that would be a lot better. There are a lot of people who don't have the CLI even downloaded that use Dioxus. You look at the download numbers, it's like a quarter of the people who use Dioxus have the CLI.
Interesting. That's going to be tough when people start trying to do like assets and bundling without the CLI, because how do you we'll figure it out. We'll get people to download. I think it's just like there's 800 crates in it. uh, Something important for the dev tools is like making that not take 12 minutes to compile. Either pre-built binaries or some alternative. Like it's probably the only answer is pre-built binaries, but that is going to be a big chunk of work for Point6 is like cargo install DX or cargo install Dioxus CLI is like instant. I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, thanks, Mark. See you next, or see you in 2 weeks. It's definitely a lot of code for a bash script. I guess doing the select stuff in a bash script would take longer. Okay, well, does anybody have any like final Dioxis stuff? Otherwise, we'll probably like end it a little bit early today. Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. I can't imagine this release taking another 2 weeks, so hopefully there's a release out by then. There will definitely be an alpha one. Hopefully by the end of today. Um, but in the meantime, thank you guys for coming to Office Hours. Yeah, it should be. We do upload them to YouTube.
I think Doja's live streaming this one on YouTube as well, so it might even already be up there.
I hope I didn't miss any comments from the live stream. Oh, okay, great. Thank you guys for coming to another iteration of Office Hours.
See everyone next week or 2 weeks.
Bye.